Hello there, and welcome to Farquhar Station. Before you can start your adventures on the island of Sodor, you will need to learn how to drive one of my engines. And I could think of none better than Thomas. In this short introduction, you will be taken through every step needed to make sure that Thomas is a really useful engine. And I'm sure you will be an expert driver in no time. Would you like to learn how to drive Thomas? Press the yes button to continue learning how to play. Or if you feel you are ready, press the no button to begin exploring Sodor. You can play this introduction again at any time by choosing the Introduction to Sodor.
Hello, driver. Climb on board and we can get started.
Follow the markers in front of you. Before you can climb the steps, you will need to check if the cab door is open. If you can see that the cab door is closed, you can open it by first looking at it and then pressing the button shown. Now that Thomas's cab door is open, you can... This is Thomas's cab. Here you will learn the controls needed to drive Thomas. If you want a better view of your... There are many locations on the railways of Sodor where lines separate or join together. These involve a network of points that set the direction the train will be travelling. On the main line, most of these points are controlled by the closest signal box. However, there are yards and junctions that require the points to be set manually. Thomas's friends Annie and Clarabel are waiting at the station platform. In order to reach Annie and Clarabel, you will first need to switch the points so that it sets the correct track. You can set the points by climbing down out of the cab, walking over and interacting with it. You can also change the points on the map, which can be accessed by pressing the key shown now. Excellent work so far. The junction is now correctly set. So it is time to move Thomas out of the siding and over to Annie and Clarabel. To move Thomas... Well done. You're doing a good job so far. To slow Thomas down, press and hold the button shown to begin applying the brakes. As you can see, the throttle has returned to 0. This means that Thomas is now ready to travel in either forward or reverse. To make Thomas reverse, tap the control shown on screen until the direction arrow on the HUD points down. Remember to slow down when approaching Annie and Clarabel. You should be going at no more than 5 miles per hour when attempting to couple to coaching stock and troublesome trucks.
Hello, Annie. Hello, Clarabel.
Hello, Thomas.
To allow passengers to climb aboard, you will first need to open the passenger doors using the controls shown on the screen. There are other cameras available to use during your adventures on Sodor. Let's look at another one now. Using the button shown on screen, change to the free camera. You are now using the free camera. With this camera, you can freely fly around to wherever you'd like. You are still able to fully control your train whilst using this camera, and it's very useful for getting a good look at your surroundings. Move the camera around so it is looking at Thomas. Now move the camera so that... Now return to the inside camera view using the button shown here. Remember, you can drive Thomas from both the inside cab view and the outside camera you were shown earlier. Good job! It looks like everyone has boarded now. You can go ahead and close the passenger doors using the controls shown here. You've got a green signal, so you're ready to continue to the next station. Increase the throttle once again to move Thomas forward. Remember to slow down as you approach a station you want to stop at, so that you come to a safe stop. Good work! Now open the passenger doors to allow the passengers to start boarding. Splendid job! It looks like you and Thomas make a great team, and I'm certain you will be an expert driver in no time.
You're a great driver. I can't wait to start our adventures together.
Thomas and Gordon. Thomas is a tank engine who lives at the big station on the Island of Sodor. He has 6 small wheels, a short stumpy funnel, a short stumpy boiler, and a short stumpy dome. He is a fussy little engine too, always pulling coaches about, getting them ready for the big engines to take on long journeys. And when trains arrive at the station, he pulls the empty coaches away so that the big engines can go and rest. Thomas thinks no engine works as hard as he does. He loves playing tricks on them, especially Gordon, the biggest and proudest engine of all. Thomas likes whistling cheekily at him.
Wake up, lazy bones. Why don't you work hard like me?
One morning, Thomas found it hard to wake up. His fire went out and there wasn't enough steam. It was nearly time for the express, but the coaches weren't ready. At last, Thomas started. He fussed into the station where Gordon was waiting. "Hurry up, you," said Gordon, "and bring me my coaches."
Hurry yourself, replied Thomas.
"Yes," said Gordon, "I will." Gordon hadn't forgiven Thomas for waking him up from this nap. As soon as the last passenger had climbed on board, he started up so quickly that there was no time to uncouple Thomas.
Stop! Stop!
"Come on, keep up," called Gordon. "Hurry, hurry, hurry!" laughed Gordon.
Poor Thomas was going faster than he had ever gone before. He was out of breath and his wheels hurt him, but he had to go on.
"Express coming through!"
Stop, please! At last, they stopped at a station.
Well, little Thomas, chuckled Gordon, now you know what hard work means, don't you?
Thomas was uncoupled, and he felt very silly and exhausted. Poor Thomas puffed slowly away to rest, and had a long, long drink. After that, he was careful to never be cheeky to Gordon again. Thomas goes fishing. When Thomas puffed along his branch line, he always looked forward to something special: the sight of the river. As he rumbled over the bridge, he would see people fishing. Thomas often wanted to stay and watch. One day, Thomas stopped as usual to take on water at the station by the river. Out of order? Bother! I'm thirsty. Never mind, Thomas, said his driver. We'll get some water from the river. They found a bucket and some rope and went to the bridge. That's good, puffed Thomas happily.
Suddenly, Thomas began to feel a pain in his boiler.
"Oh dear," groaned Thomas. "I think I'm going to burst. I've got such a pain. I've got such a pain."
They stopped just outside the last station, uncoupled Annie and Clarabel, and ran Thomas, who was still groaning, onto a siding right out of the way. Then, while the guard telephoned for an engine inspector, the driver found a notice with large letters, which he hung on Thomas in front and behind. "Danger, keep away." Soon the inspector and Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "Cheer up, Thomas," they said. "We'll soon put you right." The driver told them what had happened. "So the feed pipe is blocked," said the inspector. "I'll just look in the tanks." He climbed up and peered in. Then he came down. "Excuse me, sir. Please look in the tank and tell me what you see." "Certainly, Inspector," replied Sir Topham Hatt. He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise. "Inspector," he whispered, "can you see fish?" "Gracious goodness me! How did the fish get there, driver?" "We must have fished them from the river with our bucket," replied Thomas's driver. "Well, Thomas, you and your driver have been fishing. But fish don't suit you. We must get them out." They all took turns fishing in Thomas's tank, while Sir Topham Hatt looked on and told them how to do it. "Never mind, Thomas," said Sir Topham Hatt. "You will be all right now. There's no need to worry yourself any more. But," he added, "I do hope that you and your driver won't go fishing again, as I don't think it suits engines. Do you?"
"No, sir," said Thomas sadly. "Engines shouldn't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable."